We thank the Most High. But I won't find chamber, I may find no. I'm saying engine out of the minty. Yet, for Africa, can it me in your full edification of the seven. Amen. So, in the Info to 7, no, the title is You Need Someone. Share when you're out to win China catch any day, you need someone. You need someone. You are one Kasasha Honakade, I need someone. It's a Yanakin Kansamna. John chapter 5, verse 7. It says, the sick man answered him, Say, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I am coming, another steps down before me. Inti yebeshe akinkan semino kakra na yafa certain point if him. But before that, I said, in this life that we are in, there are certain things you just can't do them alone. There are 1,000,001 things you can do them by yourself, yes. But there are certain things you just can't do them alone. No matter how smart you are, no matter how rich, successful, spiritual you are, there comes a time where you realize you can seminar when you are no deacon or can mind. So just a brief reading through. So Jesus traveled to Jerusalem for a festival. Scholars believe it was the Passover feast. Now, he went to the pool of Bethesda. Now that pool had 5 porches. Say porch where 5 different porches, and all these porches were filled with people. Now porch means there was one big pool, the pool of Bethesda. Now what happened was annually an angel came to stir the pool, and I'll be a bear first to be a berimbian in your instant ayarisa. Today mana young pelican, the miracles, and that was how it was working back then. So that was what was going on. Now realize Bible made mention of a sheep gate. Now whenever a sacrifice was to be made, there were other pools beside. Not the meat area and it was a cleansing area. So the belief was that once ebe ko honko de ayaresa na hwehwe de benya. Na yemu bebre ye and secondary schools na yo hadin. Especially the boys schools, you will be a friend is Kate. Say nkofo bebre aware when ye na the comedy and we are just rushing to enter the dining hall because I enter my divine messenger. It was a similar instance. Because you don't know the hour or the time our baby nunu pull him. What then you there? Ebe say, ebe so ne enhu there we nunumpe. Then you rush, then you go and enter and you have your healing. Now there was this man sitting by the pool. Jesus Christ saw him, had compassion, and obisa nisembisa. Papa you na no catch any there. I have been sitting here for 38 years. Yen will be Andrew. The me age. Okay, yen mami mpemfo ha nti it's before no year reference, but any year students or hey we na we don't have Andrew highest or ha be at 30, but for 38 years just imagine one kasa 27 and 26 19 18 19 years of your life inyama yeni na tragu 38 years someone has been sitting at one place for 38 years. No be Sunday 38 years at na hey na inti for all the number of times wonu no adim, that is 38 different times. Intimin kwa adim wana. This was his response. I have no one. I have no one. Also, you may be saying who there, inti no ni ebusuafo ana. You may be saying who there na oni a year another mba ho ana. Na ni family members nso maybe a time won't go school, ne boys, and an young for you one not only obi or them ana. Time of Jesus Christ, only did them come away or san yarn. As some more try to catch any day. Sin no more. Go and sin no more. What we get from this is that it is probably because Yariban or Yareno, because of something he had done 38 years ago. That shows the impact of the things that we do now on our future. Now lessons been a bit more far if you papa na semi. They be aye ba ye tunjum Martina Bessel so in fear that ye tune them we actually don't know the impact of what he actually went through. Yes, share lessons now. He says he had no one to assist him. Also, ye wa say Say bibito na say yara. Do we have someone who will call? Do you have someone who will stand for you? Say yen kade umbra, ye peguda. But if you are to die today, would you have people standing by your graveyard saying things about you? And now the equa obey your lone burial. How na a mochreman quitting, we see what penanyan. Where were his family members? Do you have people who support you when you have bad days? There are certain days equa class, and them more chain now, do you have friends? Do you have people around you who feed you with positive information, who help you psychologically, who psych you up to be able to do more things? I this when you are there. Today, I see I result your bay. When the face is it change instantly. You see, high sense, so. And then that's the funny thing, and it's like it's everywhere. Obi brain report no asana atum I am shishinti. And most of the time no anke benya yankofo papa and now for around anke obetima wa back wa bow there. Oh, this is not the end of the road. Ebetime mia ho anade bia family members be and now wofa bi obobo no akache wa afro akache wo wofa exams mo be you know nti be etie de bia ni asend 1000 ni asend nti menye ni a. Do we have a good support system? Do we have people they be what me budget do even in our down days scramble what me buying when encourage and there oh ade aye dey oh dey be anye ne ye e bia ahihye wonye man na aye fa na wanfa. Do we have people who can support us in that time? Again, another thing you realizing there, you have to have a good friend, not just a friend, a good friend. Jesus Christ referred to his disciples as friends. John chapter 15 verse 15. Also, no longer do I call you servants, for a servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends. For all things that I heard from my Father, I have made known to you. Jesus Christ, he had good friends. A very good example was Lazarus. Time of Jesus Christ, told the uncle Pai, the sisters be sharing, say, Lord, behold, he whom you love is sick. David had Jonathan as a good friend, even to the extent that obey na Jonathan kokokuyo wino. O sing echi there, me ko Jonathan, me nyanko Jonathan nifie. Me nyo bia ofine busia mayen papa na. That is the mentality we ought to have as Christians. Have good friends, a friend who can support you emotionally and financially when the need be. Oh, most of the times we have these issues here. You see it here. Yeah, one announcement. A brother is having difficulty. A sister cannot pay the fees. Maybe on your day. Are we ready to support those people? Do you have friends? So auto more than power with my back with my bow. In times of challenges, who do you talk to? Who will come to your aid when you need advice? When you need support? Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Again, one lesson I hear do not shun your family. In the name of internship. And it is also your internship soon obey. But okofia sumaka crowd sumaninti. Ebi okofia he doesn't have the correct support system. The missus stay only in kofu ofia ebi okofia on feel at home ninti. They mean they are met in a school. Even for the 4 months in long break grandpa. I mean in kada nipa pem crowd we him because yaba baby. Academy 4 months na ka yebe ye na yo fie in December. Nipa be chile kakra ni na no. Nipa kwinsi yo teta crowd ni nyama no bobu fofofo. Bobet senata ko heya no atonyama expensive. Why? Because on pedo be kofie. While shining the family members, most of the time we have to understand say the age now your parents no one on chebia yesuso yebedru ho. So we ought to take very good care of those people. You never know when you need those people in your life. If you are who be had a church member and share and finding your them. But that be obey on who they be kwa for CV there office. Church sister here and hold grudge. to say about 38 years ago, never connect now. Every interview room now, oh, mention your name, a boy, oh, a campus church, I know, them sister, pa, na okay there, then you know fight. And when now question baby so cramp, when you know, ma. In times of trouble, you will need them. Eya ko ukrum. But you miss eya then. But you miss eya then. Obi wa ha wa abata kwa also a city girl. Because of that, if you come no fi be no mpode ya hompode. Sebio on shedan ye crew papa. I can't affiliate myself with those people. This year I big and this year I'm level no on get them nko funu biom. To be so there o etin fampa o mi fi East Legon. Etin fa o Anaji Estate. So if you come out go for in animal. These are the things on the ground. These are realities on the ground. Again, you ought to share your emotional issues. Imagine you might need to see a professional in certain instances. But look at this man. 38 years, 38 solid years. Jesus Christ will be there. Senior, how far? I'll say 38 years. I have had no one to help me to go inside this pool. Remember, say in your old age, you will need some people. Say they make good friends, no. Obedu sometime be that be yankopona and adomna etiti yenka sakesima. Na you pull up ye share din komo. You realize at that time it's not the money and then those things that matter the most. It's the partnership and the friends that you have already made, no. Wow. You say laughter is good medicine. Most of the time you see it. Ebana able to a powerful ABR, especially me papa day. Ebana able to on an yankofo church for Robert Nahua. What didn't come on so there might be half a better to you and yes, young boy and visitors have and but it helps them. Long life, no work can in a biani. The more was so the more way, understand, say it brings blessing crown put to our frabane of you. You see, you have a sound environment, it's in the on your main. We ought to show respect to these people. Again, one thing I realize what can him say, Papa no turn we no okono. And a Jew from painful wishiano. And I say, na Sabbath mbe ya shishe this and Saturday dinka obi ansa ya ebo na. Obanden all these years I him we. Etina for miracle say ken you. He was a known person 38 years no behind him no. Now did he be by bubu guarding hu na moy na nanti. No say Jesus mama kwam papa bi no shiam na o mama yaresa. The question is, Nipanat now 38 years. You saw him walking. What is your first reaction? Onye niji na nkede ma weni ja. Aso eti hai se wonya nku bibitun. Na se we fi the mad nima. Are you happy for the person? And today me enten say so ana fanfula. Ola ni dey hype na nyama ni mu ye de na achon. O dem boy de ma. Most of the time, especially one of our agenda, fanfullers, baby, they are around. What budget do them? My baby in wrong says, yeah, you have no one. Again, the man did not admit that Jesus could heal him. Young baby, and I didn't there. I didn't the target thing I said, this is the main objective. Once we can reach there and inquire the nine. This man was sitting by a pool 38 years. It took Jesus Christ just one day of meeting him to heal him. Young baby, if you the target here set and you might achieve. Oh, we chi. For 38 years we've been sitting now, we've not been able to reach there. It will take Jesus Christ just a single minute with him. Now, what is that? Baby. Oh. What do we learn from this story? What do we learn from this passage? There are some things in life you simply can't do alone. No matter how strong you are, how smart you are, you will need someone. This man was sick for 38 years, lying by the pool of Bethesda, waiting for healing. And his cry is one many of us can relate to. I have no one. Ebo how a physical condition and obo so mu them. But sometimes in your spiritual life, ebo etimu hu there, e bompe bonko. E chonche. Or kase what the tire now why? Whatever you do, you realize it's not working. What do you do in that instance as a Christian? You need someone. You need someone. Everyone needs someone. This man was waiting for 38 years and had no one to help him. Understand that we were not designed to go through life alone. From the beginning, Genesis, and Yankopon, okay, Genesis chapter 2, verse 18 said it is not good for man to be alone. Creating an impression that Duncan Nipanka said it's not hody. Ado Ramide, me Miss Independent, me Mr. Self-Reliant. A man could see me de Ibiao, man could see ma meet my madi. Ibio Hawk lectures. I don't watch any day. Why win you pa and who she? How many of us can attest to that? Kobe could be a man in sorrow. Ibio Hoitim cuts now pa 2 hours nina, no more 3 hours in Pudo Jakuma. 2 hours nina, you are not seeing anything. But I didn't who don't know. Go for 3 bits in a name hole. And you want to hold grudge chin. But be a question happen. No, I'm on side no way, yano. Obi say I know I'm on side no way, yano. And impade, I tell them, Paddy, we see your power, Tassi. So, because of pride, Ahomado, Ebe Mia when you are now quite oh, senior. Mr. Katopiking can chimin 1 day in po. Then family film quiz the ebe tree, mean to me hudo into bomb. You need someone in a but Ahomadona hunter in tea. Nedi ni na asha ho. Ne literally dama. E we are ne the sebio e da be chapel. Say Sunday na me ba chapel na chapel ko Wednesday ni Asia, Friday ni Asia. Me wan pu time nsuade. Meanwhile, there are people who are there who can help you. Ebe ko ho na akwakọ jide me ngwa ne enko. Net finchim ne literally dama. If we are here today, okay, one result on you. Obisu Tima wa farmer. Kono go to that person. You need that person. Now we Tima about what them kwano do. Yeah, a lot of us here we are dealing with emotional pain. Previously, issues on discussion on mental health, emotional pain, spiritual struggles, depression. Obi how we actually bear 7. Now so sure why and to becha pompon yes mon puno here. More ye now because that you know one no. Oh, who put name. About sister them but the person is going through a lot. You need someone, reach out for help. Your school here, you might campus here, and yet it is the issues. Kofu to our community suicide. These things are real. As at February, the last time we checked, almost 80,000 people had committed suicide. Now New Year celebration camp as at February, the first day of February, the whole month of January, we are seeing one hour son one way. Actually, what shall be beyond fancy? My son, we were here, we heard the news. KNUST, a debater, I've forgotten his name, but no, you'll be our jidin. Oko baby, oko debate competition idea. Oh, I object. Oh, one man the fans they are or sister. Obey anyway the first. We win. Oh, Oja, what they don't know sister. But deep down within him, he was not in the right place. For any year, team follow World Cup no kakrano. South Africa. Yesterday when they were playing the match, they had a minute silence for a player. Away 25 years. Jalen Adams or something. And you could see from reactions no urban beginning because of this go back. Nobody was supporting South Africa to go through, but they qualified. We have made it. Oh, Yetime push through. This guy was sitting on the bench anxiously, none inside and in team day, and he was just like this. He was just sitting down like this. Sebio, how? But there are people here who need help. Sister or brother, I said, reach out for help. You need someone. Speak to somebody. And you're being kasa. This person was sitting there. About tournament nibio. And go back to the wofi meeting or kokuno. The issue was suicide. What better was we tournament in Puyembon? There are issues, pressing matters in the church, in your life, in school, in class, in your family. Reach out to someone. Men find Sean Hune and Kademan Kutimeye. In issues are Jesus is the answer. Jesus Christ can come and help you. This man was looking at the pool. The pool is my target. Sometimes what we think we need isn't always what God knows we need. Sometimes what we think we need isn't always what God knows we need. Sometimes you feel like, oh, you had no one. It is at that moment when you acknowledge it and you work towards it, that's when Jesus Christ steps in and he changes a lot of things in your life. Jesus says, I see you. I know how long you've been suffering. I haven't forgotten you. Jesus is calling out to you today. Speak to God and open up. Seek help and you will be helped. Do not sit on your problems. Most of the time, I post another, I see a lot of people. I caption a family I can call my own. This is the Church of Christ. This is the family na Nyankopon onye watum. If there is anything, you reach out to somebody. That is the whole aim. Let's rescue the perishing, care for the dying, care for one another, because we all need someone. Amen.